Hello everybody. I wanted to post this video because the other day I've been really thinking about so many things with what's going on with society, what's going on in just people's lives that I know, and what's going on in my own personal life. And this is a video about relationship. And, one thing I was kind of pondering, I just want to talk about the word itself. Relationship. And, that ending part, ship, is like, we have partnerships, we have, relationships. Everything seems to be a ship, friendships, everything like that. And, how this relates to life is that a ship, just think of a ship like on the ocean. A ship follows these waves, goes up and down, and that's how our relationships are. Everybody knows that. You've had wonderful times with somebody. You've had shitty times with somebody. You've had just times with somebody. So, as we go through our life, relationship is number one. We're born to parents, and whether or not we grow up with them or we end up with somebody else who loves us, and, maybe adoption or foster care, something like that. But we all have these relationships. And one thing I've been really pondering lately is, like in my own life, with relationship, now I've had numerous relationships and numerous partnerships. And all the loves have been absolutely wonderful and different in their own ways. So, I got to thinking, like, what causes the strife that happens in these relationships? What causes that clashing? Not the coming together, but that clashing. Because it always seems to happen. And as you and I know, that is a relationship. There is that clash. So what happens? And this big aha moment that just hit the other day, this huge realization I had, was when that relationship affects my relationship with me or my relationship with life. So I want to talk about that. Just think for a moment, please. Just think about that. What is my relationship with my life? What is my relationship with life in and of itself? We all have different beliefs. We all have different values. We all have different growth curves. And when a relationship on this planet, like say with a friend or a partner, when that starts to get into a position of maybe forcing you out of what you feel is right about the world, or forcing you to spend all this energy on something that matters but not so much in the grand scheme of things, at least to the one that's being offended. And when that particular relationship starts affecting one's relationship with life itself, that's where the problems come in. So how do we work through all this? How do we have our relationship with our life and see it as it should be, as we feel is right? Because that is what's right for you, for me, for anybody. Your relationship with yourself and your relationship with your life are the top. If you don't have a relationship with yourself, how can you have a relationship with others? What is your purpose on this planet? Have you ever, I'm sure you've pondered that, especially if you're watching this video. I know a huge part of my purpose is to help others. I am in service to others, and I give my heart and my soul to that. In this lifetime, it's helping raise the vibe, helping maybe bring some new awarenesses to people, plant seeds, among other things. I still haven't figured it out. Nobody has it all figured out because we're constantly learning and constantly going inside. So my choice, I love to spend my energy focused on life and love. I want to be love. And I'm not talking like, it's my cute little unicorn bunny here. Like, I love this, and this is mine, and I'm going to keep this forever because I want this. I would much rather have the mindset that, you know what, I see somebody walk in and they might look sad, or even if they're happy, say, I love you so much and I love this so much that I want to share this love with you. How do we move towards being love? It really comes down to, what is the relationship you have with yourself? The relationship I have with myself, and this has been such a crazy growth period. I came out in 2012, okay? And I had been in a relationship with my children's father, and we were best friends. We were absolutely best friends. We were together. Well, by the time we finally ended things, it was 15 years. That's a long time with somebody. And we had a wonderful relationship in that terminology of being best friends. Now, I wasn't having a great relationship with myself because I hadn't accepted that I'm gay. Once I finally did that, and I came out, and holy shit, did that disrupt people's lives, especially my family. And I'm talking like my siblings and my parents. My children, they've had to deal with a lot of shit because of me being gay. Because when you're in a community that, even though it's a township of, maybe 40,000 people here or so, I'm not even sure what the population is, but even here, it's very like backwards, closed-minded. I like to almost want to say like religious thinking of, being homosexual is wrong. And a part of my thing is, I don't want to force that down people's throats. I just want to be love. I want to be this person that people can, say, hey, this person happens to be gay, and you know what? They're not affecting me in a bad way. They're not scaring me. They're not turning me gay. But back to my relationship. So when I came out, I ended up in a relationship, and I fell madly in love with this woman. Oh my gosh, it was wild. And it was the relationship that would actually break me. It absolutely tore my heart apart, and it tore my soul apart. It was a very rough time. We were together approximately 3 years, and it was literally heaven and hell. And I had been in this mindset, especially then, of learning that, being in love, I didn't want that to go away. I would just cling and hug and be attached, and that was my life. I made her my life. I wasn't happy though. And once I finally, after that relationship ended, and it tore everything apart inside of me, and it was hard. And I spent the next 2 years thinking that I had lied to myself the entire time about this, that she didn't love me. And my love was wrong. And all kinds of things went through my head. But I ended up becoming my own best friend. And it took that tearing apart and getting rid of things, which I ended up pushing away more people after that, because my mission, I had to experience what it's like to be alone. And I felt that loneliness and that separation from people, and thinking that nobody gives a shit. And that was really sad, and it was really hard. So what did I do in the meantime? I mean, I had partners since then, and they always seem to last about a year. Me personally, I am on such a strong growth path this lifetime. I am taking everything from my past lives, as most of you are too, because this is such an important time in the human species development and ascension to some higher dimensions. And I'm not talking, I mean, if you have any understanding whatsoever, and I would love to do a video on dimensions. I want to actually learn more about it prior to posting about it and talking about it. But with these relationships, they've all taught me so much about myself, and they've all been wonderful in and of themselves. I've had some wonderful partners, absolutely wonderful. And unfortunately, I didn't know enough about myself at those times that I could let somebody go with love and have a better explanation as to why this is happening. I just turned into an asshole. And I still have those reactions. Not a fan, that's my shadow. Not a fan, but yet I do accept it. And it's there for protection, it's there for a reason. Some of the things, though, this is where it gets tricky, is some of those reactions aren't necessarily your higher self or your intuition. It's trauma-based reactions based on maybe fear of abandonment from childhood. So many people have that. I don't know who doesn't have some form of PTSD from childhood, which I just learned last year that I do. And I spent with that too, relationships, say with my first relationship and my number one relationship was with my mom. And how much that affected throughout life my relationship with myself, which I didn't even realize. And I spent a few months, this was a huge realization I had last November 2019. And it just kind of, all these things just cascaded down in a waterfall one weekend over me on realizing support that I thought I had but didn't have, expectations or thinking it should be a certain way. And I spent a few months angry. I didn't confront, say, my mother or my father or anything, because I knew that I'm not going to sit here and blame. They did the best that they could, absolutely, in what they had at those times. Just like myself as a parent has failed horribly multiple times. It's one thing we live with. It's one thing we accept. And the choice that we have is to move on and to take that into that relationship with ourselves and not feeling like a failure and not feeling like we've just let all these people down and really fuck things up, because we really haven't. The reality, stepping outside and say, I'll use the power of now, Eckhart Tolle, where step outside of these situations inside of yourself and view them for what they are with no judgment. Everything is here for soul growth. Now, that's not an excuse to be an ass to somebody. And I struggle so much inside myself with my own ego and bullshit that I definitely treat those around me sometimes like shit. And working so hard through the shadows to try to get through this, because I don't want to be that way. I don't want to grow up bitter. I don't want to grow up angry. I don't want to hurt those that I love. So, this big aha moment came in realizing that something is really affecting my relationship with myself, my relationship with my life, and how I feel life should be. Which, by rights, I have those right to set those boundaries to say, this is what I will accept, and this is what I will not. So, how is your relationship with yourself? How is your relationship with life? In my personal life, I love having space. That's so important to me, because that's the only way I can get quiet enough in my head to be able to really hear my gut, hear my heart, and to be able to carry that love and to hold that love, the non-attachment love, because I truly, truly love everybody. So I just wanted to speak about that a bit, because it's so important. Relationship is what drives us here in this society. And I love being surrounded by people, but yet I love myself. And I do have a special someone, and she is absolutely wonderful. So I do hope and pray that maybe a little seed gets planted for this, or something kind of clicks, because we do have this whole Pluto in retrograde, which is bringing out all of our shadows that went in on April 25th. That's when my change actually happened. And it's not like you see these things and be like, oh, Pluto's in retrograde, my shadows are coming, so fuck off, everybody. Not the case. It's just, if you look back at that time period, and especially now with this full moon, where we're setting these boundaries and having these relationships with ourselves, we definitely want to invite love in. There is so much to be said about experiencing this love on earth, and in more of a physical form too. There is so much sexual energy. And that sexual energy can be used for so many beautiful things, including finding that inside yourself. Along with, there's sex magic, which some consider black magic, which is bullshit. Because in a 5D existence, which we are moving to, fifth dimensional, which is only based in love, there is no fear. There's no fear of losing somebody, because you can't lose people, because you don't have people. I'm grateful for everybody in my life, truly. Even people that don't agree with me. It's okay. I love you. And I'm not here to argue with anybody whatsoever. You're right. Your relationship with your life is what you're telling me when you try to argue with me. And for some, I'm very sorry that your relationship with your life and yourself are that shitty that you feel like you have to judge somebody or belittle somebody or call somebody stupid. That's not right. So I just wanted to, like I say, post this video, and I hope and pray that the relationship with your life and the relationship that you have with yourself is healthy, and you can hear those boundaries and continue to live your life, because that's your truth with a capital T. So until next time, I absolutely love you all.